Welcome to Chris Parking Shooting Sports, unusual one today. Now on Instagram I get a lot of contact from Chinese companies wanting to send me optics and asking me all about what I do and this, that and the other. Well, this time one of them came true, and Swampdeer Optics contacted me, they emailed me, went through professional channels, and they sent me, well, they gave me a choice of which optics I wanted to choose, and they tried to throw quite a few at me, but I just chose one to start with, and maybe we'll look at some more soon. But after using this one, I'm actually quite pleased with them, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. Now this one, it's got quite a handful of a name. It's a fairly simple optic in terms of its 30mm tube, 50mm front end, 6 to 24 times magnification, which is a 4 times director tube. A very common specification, very useful specification, but the official title is, and I will have to refer to my notes, it's an FX HD 6 to 24 by 50 SFIR FFP. Now, if we just disseminate that a little bit, the HD is the HD glass within, which is, you know, it's a bit of a marketing term. Does it actually specifically refer to any measurable factor? I'm not really sure it does, but it does indicate that they actually show some quality and confidence in it, and to be fair, it has actually given me that. 6 to 24 is the magnification, so you've got 6 at the bottom end, 24 times at the top end. 50 is the 50mm objective lens, which gives you a decent amount of light entry, and of course the 30mm tube means you've got plenty of space inside for decent mechanical range. This scope is advertised as giving 80 minutes of angle elevation adjustment and 60 minutes of angle lateral windage adjustment, which equates to about 23 by 17 milliradians vertical and horizontal. This one, by the way, is also in a milliradian clicks, so it's 10th milliradian clicks, which is 10mm at 100 meters. The SF I'm not quite so sure about, and the IR stands for illuminated reticle, and you get a reticle diagram with the picture on the booklet here, and it does show that the very centre spot does light up. Now I've been using this in the middle of summer, and you're not really going to see that easily on screen, but you can see the reticle slightly centred off, and I'll put a picture on screen of what the reticle looks like under ideal conditions. The FFP, of course, means it's first focal plane. So for those less familiar with that, on a first focal plane scope, as you zoom in, the reticle as well as the picture get larger, but they stay in complete correspondence with each other, so you can aim off and dial off using your turrets to make sure you get exact corrections on your scope values. Now I'll put a link to the product in the description, because there's a lot of details which, you know, you don't really want to hear me repeat on screen. You probably want to hear what my opinion of it is, because there are many 6 to 24 scopes around. There are many Chinese optical brands, there are many European optical brands, and it's more about, you know, how much are the Chinese coping and catching up? Well, they are really catching up, because I've had quite a few optics sent to me that I've never reviewed. I've just sent them back and said thank you very much, but no, it's just not really suitable for the UK market or pretty much the world market in that respect, because the quality's just not been there. I can't make them look good on camera, and I can't lie to you, so I've just said no, thank you, have it back, let's move on. Well, the Swampdeer I've actually had rather a good time using, and it doesn't try and do anything overcomplicated. It doesn't bombard you with features and functions and marketing terms which don't really mean anything. What it does is it provides an optic which has decent quality levels. Now, I don't know whether to tell you the price now or the price later. Swampdeer can't tell me an exact price because there isn't yet a complete international distribution system in place. So I'll put the link to their website, and you'll have to keep up with that a little bit to see when they're coming. But this is going to be about $350 US, which to me seems incredibly good value for money. Now it's got all the usual facts like fully multi-coated optics, it's aluminium main tube, it's hard anodized, it doesn't pick up the skin from your fingers, it's got nice smooth controls on it with now well defined stops at either end of the travel on the zoom there. You get a throw lever with it, and it's got fast focus and plus to minus 2 diopter to make sure you get a crisp reticle picture. eye relief has been kept between 95 and 96 millimeters, so you don't notice a huge range having to move backwards and forwards through the zoom. And you will notice I did use it with the trigger cam on top, and those are very, very critical to focus. And I actually found it a lot easier to use with this scope than many other scopes. Now, most people aren't using a trigger cam, but it does actually give you a bit of a visual demonstration of just how versatile the eye box on a scope is and how forgiving it is. And this scope does have a very forgiving eye box because you can move around. The reticle doesn't seem to be giving any problems. There's no shift in kind of focal capability. It's a very, very flat image through it. So the lenses do appear to be very well ground. And of course, that reticle's got lots of milliradian hash marks on it, which being first focal plane, you can aim off, dial off, and you can make sure you're getting your hits correctly. Now, the turrets themselves do feature zero stop on the elevation. You can just turn that all the way around, go as far as you want, then all the way back and clunk into the zero stop. You unscrew the top, take the turret cap off to set the actual indicator zero, and there's little Allen keys underneath it. You can rotate the collar inside to set the zero stop. It's a very simple system, it's a very functional system. You don't really need anything more complicated in life than that. And a lot of expensive optics spend a lot of money, which of course is passed on to you by creating incredibly complicated mechanical systems which don't actually do any more than that does. Now, the windage on the right hand side doesn't have a zero stop, but it's of course marked left and right of centre. Undo the cap there, take the cap off, and it will then just go back to indicate marked zero as you would expect. The other difference between the windage and the elevation turret is the windage turret does lock in the centre, so when you move back to the centre you can click it in position. The clicks are quite tactile and they're audible, they're even as well. You go around some scopes, you turn half a turn and the click sort of fades a bit and then it comes back a little bit, which gives you an indication that machining quality internally is not good. This one doesn't do that, it gives you a nice uniform click feel all the way throughout the rotation of travel. Similarly, on the windage, exactly the same. One thing maybe I do kind of wish you had was just like a slight indent for the zero for windage left and right when it's absolutely central, but it's not hugely critical, and the turrets are well marked with clear markings in the 10th milliradians that it adjusts by per click. Now, parallax on this scope goes down to 10 yards from infinity, and one thing I will say about this scope compared to many of its other similar rivals is that this one has a little bit more control over parallax at the longer distances. Some scopes have a huge amount of the rotation here between 10 and sort of 200 yards, and then they've got about an eighth or a 16th of a rotation between 200 yards and infinity. And you do notice, especially with a trigger cam on board, that you are not able to compensate with your own eyesight. The scope itself is very difficult to set up and find that crisp focal point. Now, of course, this is a $350 optic. This is not comparable to a $3,500 optic, but what I will say is this: in good daylight conditions, I had no hassle using this at all and was pleased with the image it gave me. I was able to put precise bullet on bullet out to 300 meters with no problem at all. On a nice still day, bright sun, I had really good time shooting it. Now, the illumination control is on the end here. Take the cap off, there's a CR2032 battery goes underneath to control the intensity, and there are 6 intensity settings, 1 to 6 with intermediate off positions. There's no automatic off, so you do have to remember to switch it off, but again, $350 scope, not $3,500 scope, so just remember to switch it off and or keep some spare CR2032 batteries with you. The very centre dot of the crosshair lights up, so it gives you that precision aim point. And of course, in poor light conditions, especially if you are using this a little bit more towards a hunting factor, you might drop your magnification a bit, and of course the reticle gets smaller, you might not see it as easily, but of course with that little illuminated centre dot, you never lose that centre dot. So for a point and shoot scenario in a hunting sort of environment, this scope will still do that. And I like the fact that even when it is zoomed right in and you turn the illumination on to full intensity, the light is not bleeding out, it's not giving you this awful red spill into the rest of the picture. So I think it's actually pretty good for the money. Now there is a detailed picture of the reticle on the instruction card here. There weren't many documents with it, and it is advertised as waterproof, fogproof, shockproof, but there's no listing of the exact warranty, and I am waiting on for more information from Swampdeer on that. Again, go to the description, click on the link to Swampdeer, because I think anything they're going to put up is going to be updated as we go along, because although the company have been in business for well over a decade, they are kind of really starting to hit the ground running with the civilian optics market. I think this scope has been a very interesting entry level into the product range, and I am looking forward to using some more of these scopes. I think we all have to face the fact now that the big European companies are closing down European production facilities for daylight conventional glass optics. Digital optics are coming down massively in price too, so of course that's fighting against the market where we used to need superb low light performance, because now you can spend £600 and you can get a digital scope with superb low light performance, far superior to any glass optic. It comes with a 3-inch sunshade. It also comes with flip up lens caps front and rear. Those are nice simple units, pop them on there. You'll see I wasn't using them in the video because I was using the trigger cam, but those just pop on easily like that, and of course they'll just flick up and down, spring into position and click back usually in place when the bolt handle's not in the way of them. Specifications for the scope are all listed here. I will put it in the product description, so please look at that. But in the meantime, have a look at Swampdeer. I'm not trying to sell it, I just think it represents what is a beneficial improvement coming from the Far East. Anyway, have a look at the description, check out Swampdeer Optics. They might have the scope you want. The product range is expanding, the distribution range is expanding, and they sent me this literally because they just wanted a bit of my opinion and a bit of my real world feel for it. Not here just to quote the statistics, again look at the description. I'm here to give you my impressions of it, and quite frankly I enjoyed shooting it. It's frighteningly good value for money, to be honest, and it does sort of signify the fact the strength of the Far East in optical manufacture now. Optics from the Far East now have got good crisp image, you're not stuck with poor colour transmission, you're not stuck with problems tunnelling and things like that, and the flat focus across the field of view is exceptional. Field of view is good, and you don't get a critical small eye box. This goes from 2 to 10 millimeters between the actual magnification range, so you've always got plenty of space to manoeuvre around and you're not totally restricted. And actually here I'm bathed in an image which is bright edge to edge. I can't pick up any problems with it either in daylight or in mid conditions. And of course we're now on the 2nd of September, the light's becoming a little bit friendlier to shooting as well because it's been so bright through the summer. And I'll be using this on this 223, I might use it on one of the 6.5s, and I'm probably going to use it on a 22 LR as well. But I am looking forward to receiving some more scopes from Swampdeer and keeping you in track with who the distributors are going to be and whether you can actually get hold of one of these things. It is a brand which hopefully we will see more of, but in the meantime please like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell and keep track of more of my videos, regular uploads, and hopefully soon we will see more from Swampdeer in both larger and smaller magnification optics, point and shoot optics. There are also a nice 5 to 30 scope I'm looking forward to using with a 34mm tube too. But in the meantime, have fun, safe shooting, bye for now.